I wanted to ask you what you thought of Mattie Curry's play in this one. I mean, I think she started every match. She's been a big piece for your back line since coming here. What have you thought of her, whether it's on the pitch or learning her as a person?
Yeah, my initial thought when we got Curry was, what is LA doing? We got a gem of a human and a player. She's been a great addition to our team. She's fitting in, both on and off the field, which is always great to see. But yeah, she brings, a lot of different layers for our team. She's very attacking minded, and really understands, the defensive aspect that we implement here at the Reign. So yeah, she's been an exciting one for me to watch, and I'm really excited to see her leave her mark here.
And what have you thought about the club through the first four matches? Obviously, I think you get your first start last week against Orlando. Nice to see you back in there, but obviously you're without some key pieces against the league's best. What have you thought about the club so far through four matches played?
Yeah, I was really excited to see our start of the season. We had a really good preseason down in Coachella. And adding a lot of new players again this year always takes time to kind of develop relationships, and we're really seeing those come into play. So each game, we're learning something new about ourselves, about individual players, and what partnerships work best. But I think the exciting thing about these last four games is that we've had a lot of new players get a lot of minutes, and seeing them succeed has been really fulfilling for me, and just brings a lot of confidence within the group now. We have a lot more depth, and a lot more experience in those players, coming off the bench and starting no matter what. So I think that's been really exciting these last four games. I think the performance we put on against Orlando was super promising. Like you said, one of the top teams in the league, and I think we competed every single minute of that game. We walked away feeling very disappointed with the loss, but took a lot of positives away from that game, and just really good momentum moving forward, especially into a Portland game that being able to put that performance on, still missing some key pieces, but that touches back on how much depth we have in our squad right now, that any team we put out there is going to compete, and turning these a lot of chances we're creating into goals, and that eventually will turn into wins and 3 points. So
thanks, Charles. And then next we'll go to Ashley.
Hi, thank you for being here. I'm with The Athletic, and I always thought this must be the most important, match in the calendar because of the rivalry between the two teams. When you guys are preparing throughout, like, the beginning of the season, when this match approaches, is there a special excitement around it? Is the team gets more competitive because this is the one that probably must be the most meaningful so far rivalry to win? So can you let us know a little bit more about how this is an important date for the whole team?
Absolutely.
For you, because you've been here for so long.
Totally, yeah. We have so much history with Portland. I think it's been one of the, most, probably globally and definitely in the NWSL, the biggest rivalry you can have. And that's been really exciting, especially early on, in the league when we played the West Coast teams a lot more than we do now. Now you have home and away series, which is great. But before we were playing Portland, because they're just down the street. And I think that's what's created this history and this really kind of intense and competitive environment between the two of us. One, it's the Cascadia clash. So, bragging rights, respect rights, all come into play with this game. So, yeah, when we prepare for league games, it's definitely different when it comes down to Portland because there is a little bit more on the line with this game in terms of, like I said, bragging rights. We each have incredible environments to play in, and Portland's had that since 2013, which set the standard for women's soccer. So there's always kind of been that aspect where it's like they've kind of had it all, and we want to, be that as well. So I think coming into each other's environments, we both have really, really unique environments. Portland's been so strong with fan base, and then Seattle, has been a soccer city for so long, and supported the Reign throughout it all. So, having all these little layers to it just really does add to the excitement of these games. And then with new players coming in and players that haven't really had a chance to play a Portland Reign game, we have been trying to instill some history into that, and we have really fun videos and things like that just brings in past players to kind of, again, focus on this game and how important it is. But the history between the two clubs is really what you want to play for. We're so lucky to have this rivalry between the two because we're bordering states. So I think for me it's about bragging rights and respect. So going out there is always a little extra on this game. So we're excited, and we do obviously prepare a little bit different, and passing this legacy down to the new players and the new generation has been really exciting.
Thank you. As you said, it's internationally well known because I've been following this for over a decade, this one derby here. So thank you so much.
Yep.
Thanks, and then we'll go over to All for 11.
Hey Lauren, this is Book Win with All for 11. So I just kind of want to talk to you about just what this rivalry has meant for you, just in your career. And then you were mentioning how you are bringing, all these new faces. Portland has a lot of new faces. Mm-hmm. Seattle has a lot of new faces, and just trying to get them up to speed on what this rivalry means, not just to the supporters, but to the both cities. What has that process been like for you as well?
Yeah, I think in the past, it's arguably been the two best squads in the league for a really long time, and we've got to, play each other and have these really competitive games for a lot of, not just emotionally, but competitively. And I think, having that leak into the team is something that has been unique to try. And, you can't put words into like this feeling. And it was so cute. 2 days ago, we kind of did like a history of like the two clubs and whatnot. And then so Emery, one of our younger players who's now played a year and has played against a Portland team, she said she had younger girls come up. She's like, I like, what is the rivalry? Like, what is this? And she's like, you just need to play in the game. You just need to be there. You need to be, whether you play or you're on the bench or, in the stands, she's like, you will just feel it. And I was like, it was so cool for her to say that and kind of pass that along to the younger group, because there are no words to put into this. It is definitely a feeling when you go out there that, it's this like respect, this hate, this, community battle. It's not just like on the field, it's off the field as well with the two cities. I think that's something that we are trying to instill in the players that come in here, and especially ones, that are new to the league but also have played on different teams. They don't even really get to, experience that with other teams that they play, because this is definitely the big clash here in the NWSL. So the experience, I think the girls need to feel it, and we obviously, when I say we, me, Laura, Jess, who've played in 100 of these Cascadia clashes, just really like emphasizing, one, how fun these are. Like they truly are special games to play in, because it is so much more than just a league game. And there's only so many games you get to play that have like this type of emphasis on it, I guess, and intensity. You get them in semifinals, you get them in finals, but we get to have, 2 league games each year that are this, as exciting as a championship game.
All right, and then we'll go to Charles. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Thanks, Ryan. And then, Lauren, Portland has a lot of new faces in attack. No more Sinclair, Morgan Weaver's, out for the season. But they're still putting up the most shots in the league, second in expected goals. With such a young team with so many different faces, how difficult is that to kind of slow down in this Cascadia clash for tomorrow? Yeah,
I mean, all tactics, everything goes out the window when you play, Portland-Seattle game. We tell the girls this too, like, obviously we want to prepare as much as possibly can tactically, but, it's all about pride. It's all about, your heart and the crest you wear on your chest. So, going out there, Portland has always put on a good squad, has always been challenging to play. So we just know that's always going to be, the standard for this team. I think just a mix, having people enjoy this game and like really embrace it. And then also remembering that, it's a league game and, we need to come away with 3 points. And so the focus is always that. Focus is always on us moving forward and being competitive.
Great, and now we'll go back to Charles.
Hey Lou, I know I asked you about your thoughts on the season, but I would just want to see how you're feeling personally so far. I know last year you dealt with something throughout the course of the year. Just how have you been feeling physically, at least through the first few weeks, and how does it feel to be, I guess, fully back after, dealing with what you had last year.
Yeah, for sure. It was a long off season. It definitely kind of leaked into this season as well. Getting loading and having time just honestly takes time. So I'm super happy where I'm at right now. I'm feeling very healthy, 100%. But it did take me a while to get there. So yeah, just patience and being available, for players that are playing and supporting them in different ways has also been a role that I've wanted to take on and love taking on. But once I got a taste of just being able to play again, I missed it a lot. So I'm happy to be able to compete and be back in the lineup when I can.
And my last one for you, I know we all talked to you a little bit about the younger players like a Jordan Bugg, like an Ainsley last season, but we've got a few more of the younger faces like Mattie Darlene and Emily Mason. Just what has it been like with those sort of newer, younger faces, just having them around and what you've seen from them? Thanks, Lou.
Yeah, they've been so exciting to watch and just see them grow within the last 5 weeks. We've asked them to fill, some big roles in being a rookie and, starting and playing a lot of minutes is super hard. Like, this league is unforgiving. Being consistent is one of the hardest things you can do in this league. And to see them pull this off as rookies has been incredible. They're going to be, stars in this league without a doubt. I'm so excited to see the future that they have here. And yeah, both, like I said, with even Curry on and off the field, they've fit into this team and this squad like they've been here forever, which is exactly what you want in an environment. Embracing like what we've asked of them. I think last game, Mattie D was a wing back, so she was, back on defense with me, and it was just so fun to like work with and, trust and allow them, to go out there, be themselves, be confident and, make mistakes, whatever it is, like we're there to support them, and they've really bought into that. So it's been really fun for them to see them thrive.
Thanks, Charles. And then we got time for one more from Ashley.
Thank you so much. This is a bit random, but because of your role and your history with the league, this is probably your third CBA that you signed right when playing for the NWSL. One of the parts that is really interesting and close to my heart is the fertility treatments that now everyone can get and be, can take advantage of it. And Reign was one of the teams already 2 years ago offering such treatments for its players to protect them. What are your thoughts on that? And do you see that, is this making a difference in the younger players' choices when they're looking at their career? And how is this impacting their, career choices 100%. And how they're looking at that future that could be longer and better for them, and they can play longer without thinking about this, very important thing for some women,
Yeah, I did the fertility actually a year ago and been very open about it with the team. I'm happy to speak about it all the time because, like you said, this is going to be so impactful for women's sports moving forward and longevity of women's careers as well. And I think as an older player, I'll be 36 this year, not having that even earlier on in my career was definitely a big missed opportunity, and definitely I continue to still play, but there's definitely thoughts of when I need to stop just to think about these things. So being able to have these resources and provided throughout the league now, but obviously Seattle has its own as well, is definitely a game changer for this team and players. And I've had young players come and speak to me, and I'm just even to be able to be educated on it now, I think is also going to be super impactful for these young ones. Not that they have to do it now, but that they have the choice or can learn about what they want to do, is going to be super helpful moving forward. And it is as simple as you can put it, it's life-changing.